Hello and welcome to the After Dark podcast. I am your host Gus. I am joined by the Hype.
Hi everybody. Gus, I want to say to Booze, he's not going to be here with us this evening. I want to say get well soon. We miss you, buddy. We hope you pull through.
What happened to him? Is he sick?
No, I mean he's just Booze. I just hope whatever is wrong with him gets better. But I think he's moving or something.
I don't think there's actually anything wrong with him. I think that's just how he is. So, yeah, he might actually just be a complete idiot, for all we know. But, yes, Boozman is not with us tonight on the podcast because he is moving to the lovely city of St. Louis, where Cardinals are, and there's a whole bunch of fattening food. I've been there before. It's delicious. But tonight we have a guest on with us tonight.
Our first guest ever.
The first guest ever, yeah, so man. It's crazy. Special. The host of the podcast extraordinaire Clock Dodgers podcast that goes over anything from football, basketball, baseball, anything you want, even live talk. On the last podcast they were talking about the late events of the shootings. But I don't want to be depressing tonight. Let's introduce the man himself, Neal Prophet, Mr. Clock Dodger. How's it going, sir?
What's up, guys? I appreciate the introduction. I'm humbled to be the first guest. And sorry, Booze. I mean, I guess I'm the guy that fills in today.
Actually, this is a full-time thing. We're replacing you, or replacing him with you. So
Booze is gone. This is gonna be what's the show with Kelly Ripa where they just sub in guests?
Oh yeah, live with Regis and Kelly.
Yeah, who's the best replacement?
Sound like Michael Strahan and stuff here.
No, yeah. Booze is Michael Strahan.
We met our ginger quota.
Oh yeah, that's true. We had 10 episodes?
We met our ginger quota, so we.
Yeah.
I think we got to 10 episodes, and then finally we were broken from the contract. So,
hey, works for me, guys.
We didn't want to resign him.
Nice. All right. Well, Neal Prophet, it is great to have you on, and it's funny because I remember way back when, in the early days of Fantasy Life app, when kind of things were coming together, and you showed up on the scene and shared Clock Dodgers, your website, which is clockdodgers.com, and I actually wrote an article about Kobe for your website. That was a great experience. One of the better pieces I think I've written, just because there was a lot of personal connection behind it. But
and then let's be honest, I searched you out for that. That was something I asked you to do personally. So I appreciate you doing that.
And I appreciate it as well. But what was neat is when I actually saw your website for the first time, it's a legitimate operation you got going on over there. It was pretty exciting to see all the stuff that goes down, and just the opportunities you've given some of the Fantasy Life app users too to contribute and participate and be a part of your podcast, and some of our listeners as well now, as we've gotten off the ground. So it's like I said, it's nice to have you. Let loose, be yourself, because we like to fuck shit up on our podcast a little bit, so.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I mean, it's something that, when I started, I actually was jobless. I would just let go of a job, and I was tired of, just working for other people and feeling like I wasn't getting anywhere with it. And so I just created Clock Dodgers, man, and now we're where we're at.
And it's exploded to one of the best podcasts on the app for sure. One of the best podcasts in general that I listen to. So, without further ado, let's get
it. You guys, for sure. I just want to say, they know their shit. They do their homework a lot more than we do our homework. So kudos and things for that. But yeah.
Thank you guys.
You do
I really appreciate it.
And they also have the best fucking intro in the world, dude. That's
pretty bad. Yeah.
That's crazy shit.
You guys have a good intro yourself, man. It's not too shabby,
Thank you. It's actually Greg, so if he It's Greg.
Yeah, that's my band.
It's his band. So we really hired the best
for my band.
I might be hiring Greg for the next intro. Who knows?
Nice.
No, he's actually owned by us. So.
Oh, now they got me. Now they have me just. I'm an indentured servant.
We have a 20 episode contract.
Shit.
Not fair.
All right, Gus. What's on your agenda tonight?
We
gotta talk some sports, I hope.
I mean, it's been a really dead week for sports outside of the baseball All-Star game and Stanton ripping homers. Also, another thing in the NFL going on was the franchise tenders are about to expire. Well, no, what is it? On Thursday night is the deadline for players that are on the franchise tag to receive full-time extensions. So the one player that's on everybody's mind is Mr. Von Miller. He is he's saying that he won't play at all without a full-time contract, without a full-length contract. He won't play under the franchise tender. So let me ask you guys this pretty simple, straightforward question: does the Denver Broncos sign him to a full-term deal before the deadline?
I mean, I think it has to happen. I don't see any way how it doesn't happen. I mean, I know there's more than just Von Miller on the Broncos, but I feel like he's probably he's probably the most important player in their team. I mean, right? So I don't see how it doesn't happen, but basically I would be shocked if it doesn't happen. So I think they're gonna have to cave in at some point.
Yeah, I agree with that. They're gonna have to compromise because, I mean, this is a guy. He has a recognizable face. He has the goggles thing going on. He's been on Dancing with the Stars. He's essentially, now that Manning's gone, he's the face of that franchise. Other than John Elway in the front office, which that doesn't help you very much from a marketing standpoint alone, and what the fans would make of it. They really do have to get things situated there. So I don't see how they don't work that out. It wouldn't be catastrophic per se, but it definitely would be problematic.
Yeah, I mean, in other words, Broncos, go ahead and pay Khalil Mack Light his money.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it. Yeah, that's right. I forgot. Prophet's a Raiders fan. I like it.
Damn. So
Just sticking up for my guys, man.
Would you take Khalil Mack over? I mean, I guess your answer is yes. You would take him over Von Miller?
I definitely would. No question.
Because I think Khalil's a little younger, so that definitely sways in his favor. From a pure talent standpoint, it's close, but I think the age, and especially what Khalil's contract will be for a little bit longer, I think you have to I lean towards that. And
in all fairness, we're splitting hairs because they're both probably two of the top. I don't know what 5 top 10 defensive players in the league. So no matter how you slice it, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, I agree. I just looked up. Khalil Mack is only 25 years old. Wow, that's a beast. I'm looking at Von Miller now, and he is. Come on, phone, load up.
7?
You're guessing 27? He is 27. It's not that big of a difference. He's 27.
Nice. A couple of years, but still.
As far as my opinion on the matter, even if the Broncos don't sign him long term on Friday or Thursday, I just don't understand the point of holding out. I understand the point of it, don't get me wrong, but you're going to have to play anyway. You're still under contract to play. If you hold out, it doesn't – I don't know. I feel like it doesn't look good on you in the locker room unless everybody's in the NFLPA office. But if I was playing with a Von Miller and he is holding out past the deal for more money and, he's not going to play or he's not practicing, I'd kind of take that as a – I mean, it's tough because the guy's a family and all that, but I don't know, I wouldn't like playing with that guy.
Does anybody know, how much money we're talking about here? How far they're apart?
Distance-wise? Man, what's the franchise tender's got to be upwards of 10, 12.
I think it's at 20, 21, isn't it?
Oh, jeez, it's that high?
It's something ridiculous for his position.
Holy shit. Well, I mean, yeah, that could be an issue. I know they're at least a few million apart, if not more.
What's a few million amongst friends, man? What's a few million? Come on.
Again, he's the face. And he was a huge part of their Super Bowl win. So I mean, you just have to pay the guy. I mean, at that point,
show him the money.
Show him the money. I think it was the first deal that they offered him was like a 6-year, $140 million. Let me look up the news on that contract.
Oh,
Jesus,
dude, crazy money.
Crazy. I mean, but still, I mean, not basketball money.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. And it's fully guaranteed in basketball.
That's insane. While Gus is looking that up, I don't know how long he's going to take. I am curious who you guys think, and this wasn't on this wasn't on the list, but
the list. I didn't get a list. What list are we talking about?
We don't ever get lists. We don't do lists.
Really small. It's
Yeah,
you're
speaking of a hypothetical list here because I got nothing.
Well, there we go. We like to kind of just wing it. So, and I this wasn't on the list.
It is
at the current moment.
Sorry,
of who we know is where.
Let me interrupt you.
Which player do you think makes the biggest impact with a new team? So which player in the NFL that's moved to a different team this offseason has the biggest impact? And I'm not going to count rookies in that, so no Ezekiel Elliott.
Oh, I think it's Lamar Miller.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, I think it's just that added versatility in that offense with a solid running game, a guy that the newly acquired Osweiler can just dump it down to. Man, I think it's Lamar Miller. He's really explosive. I like him a lot.
You know what? I'm trying to think right now. I mean, you went Lamar Miller. How can you not go Osweiler, right?
I mean, there's definitely a couple of quarterbacks here in the
run. I mean, you know, obviously people will laugh at that, you know, because, you know, some people don't think Osweiler deserved the contract he got. They don't think, you know, any of that was really warranted. But at the same time, you know, they're going from Hoyer, you know, to Osweiler, and will it be a big difference? I don't know, but you know, that team, you know, is on the verge possibly of something special, like you said with Adam Miller. You got one of the best defensive players in the league. You got Nuck. I mean, if Osweiler can do, you know, 25% better than Hoyer, I mean, what do they have? You know?
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. I'm not huge on Osweiler. I mentioned this I think last week on the pod. He's just a huge question mark. But if he plays decently, that team has some potential for sure. The homer pick in me wants to say like a Bruce Irvin going to Oakland, giving Mac, you know, we talked about Khalil, giving him a little more space. I'm curious to see. I don't think he makes maybe the biggest impact in the world, but I'm curious to see what Josh Norman does with the Redskins, because that defense has been an issue at times, that secondary in particular. But I kind of also was thinking Lamar Miller was probably the first thing that popped into my mind. I think the Texans in general have a lot of questions to answer early on, and it'll be interesting to see where they go with it.
Yeah, I'm one of the guys who actually aren't crazy about Josh Norman. I'm wondering, I don't know, for some reason, obviously I'm a Raider fan, and, you know, I don't know if you remember when we had Asamoah. You know, he was nailed. He was nails, and then, you know, he goes to the Eagles, and he doesn't do shit, really. And I feel like, was Josh Norman, you know, in that same kind of thing where he was a system fit and maybe, you know, the system won't work where he's at now? I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Nnamdi, he had been around for a little while, so maybe there were some miles on the tires. But, yeah, he definitely was not the same player when he went to Philly that he was here. And he was great here. So, yeah, again, Norman, it'll be interesting. I don't know if I'm totally sold on Norman either, but I do like his feistiness, and I do think he gets under receiver skins. We get to see him against OBJ twice a year now, so it'll be fun at the very least to see what he does.
And just to throw two other names out there that I kind of, you know, a lot of people, I guess, are kind of writing them off a little bit, or maybe, you know, I don't know how much you'll expect from them, but I think Matt Forte and DeMarco Murray are interesting. You know, obviously people don't have a lot of faith in DeMarco Murray. I think they have more faith in Forte, but I think both of those guys could make a pretty decent impact. Especially, I don't know why everyone's knocking Murray, because the Titans had, you know, terrible running backs, you know, last year, and I feel like, you know, between him and Henry, I don't see how they don't improve dramatically.
I agree there.
They need consistency.
First thing I want to say is that the Von Miller contract was 6 years, $114 million. Both sides seem to agree on that figure, but the only thing that's being disputed is the amount of guaranteed money, which the Broncos are willing to give him $38 million in guaranteed money, and Von Miller and his agent want at least $60 million. So, that's a
big difference.
That's a big difference there. So, and as far as other notable free agent movings, I think, as far as to your point first though, with the cornerbacks, I think cornerback position is the most scheme system fit position in the entire league, just because I've seen so many corners go to other teams and just fall off because they don't play the way that certain defenses play and certain defensive coordinators play. and defensive coordinators like their system, and sometimes the big stud free agent corner doesn't play the same way. It's like with the Eagles, or excuse me, not the Eagles, the Seattle Seahawks. They had their Legion of Boom, but we see Brandon Browner, who he was actually pretty good with the Patriots, but not on the level he was with the Seahawks. And of course, we all know Byron Maxwell, who he was fantastic with the Seahawks as a corner. He was like the third corner on that team, I think. And he failed with the Eagles, and now he's coming to the Dolphins, which I'm really worried about.
Yeah, I think cornerbacks get a rep. I mean, just really quickly, they get a rep as like if you are effective and someone's going to pay you big money to come over. I think there's this expectation that you were really good in that for your former team, so now we're going to kind of leave you out there on your own a little more and let you try to do. And if a guy is not a one-on-one, a cover corner, if like you said, system, then that definitely is an issue. That definitely can weigh on a corner and make them not as effective as they were in a different system. So I agree there.
Yeah, some corners are just so good that they'll play in anything, but their corners are so system based, in my opinion, that it's kind of hard. But also some other free agents that I really liked was Malik Jackson, the former defensive tight end. Wow, yeah, defensive tackle.
Defensive tight end. Are you going to start talking about Draymond Green or not? Draymond Green guarding Kevin Durant now?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Shout out to Booz.
I am in Key West right now, so I've had a few drinks today. So yes, nice. Malik Jackson from the Denver Broncos, playing defensive tackle, going over to the Jaguars. I think that's going to give the Jaguars a lot of strength up front, and also we all know their rookies that they've added. So I think that's also a big addition there. So anything else we want to talk about?
What do you guys, just curious, really quick, speaking about the Jaguars, because everyone's saying, they're the hot team this year. If you guys had to put a percentage on it right now, what chance do you think that team fails horribly this year? Is there any chance at all? I mean, it doesn't make the playoffs, for instance, or something to that effect. What do you think the chances of that happening is?
I'll ballpark that in the 15 to 20% range, 25 tops. I mean, obviously injuries are always an issue, so I'm not going to bring that up too much. But Bortles is still young. He could definitely have an off year. Other quarterbacks have done so. I don't necessarily see it happening. I think they're really on the cusp of being something special. They're in the same category for me as the Raiders and a couple other teams, but these teams that aren't one side of the ball just need to develop more than the other. And Jacksonville's defense being shored up is going to help with that. A-Rob is amazing. That dude, I'm really sold on that guy. They have some other weapons going on. If they can get that run game a little more solid, and like I said, shore up the defense a little bit, they're definitely a playoff team, and they are something to be reckoned with for sure.
As far as busting completely or failing completely, I'm gonna put that as a 4-12 or 8 or 6-12 or 6-10 record. I kind of actually lean towards that 8-8, 6-12 and 6-10 record, just because it's just such a young team. Especially, they're the most of the defensive players they've added outside of Malik Jackson are rookies, so they're still going to need some development. They're not ready to, we don't know if they're ready to go yet or not. They might be. They might outperform whatever we all believe. Especially the young man they drafted in what was his name? The first round, Jalen Ramsey. That was his name. Yes, he might be fantastic right out of the gate. But I'm not 100% sure on it yet. And Bortles is also, as Greg said, he's a young quarterback. He might have to throw a lot again with that defense. Maybe not, shoring up all the way as it should be. I don't see them making the playoffs. I think the Texans and the Colts are better teams. So
wow,
yeah, for me, they're not as close as people think they are. I think that they're closer to being a bust. I think they're closer to being a bust, in my opinion.
Wow. I haven't heard that a lot this offseason. So you feel you're not as confident in them, but. The one thing we could say, especially from me and Gus, obviously in Florida, is we're going to see a lot more Jacksonville jerseys than we've ever seen before.
Yeah. Well, I was going to mention they're a team too that will be interesting on a national level. Maybe not this year yet, but if they make some noise, just because of that youth, Bortles, and some of the other young guys that they have there, we could definitely see more of them on TV as well, on the programming. But yeah, I do think Indianapolis, assuming Luck stays healthy, is probably ahead of them. Houston, again, I'm not entirely sold on. So I think I think they could finish ahead of Houston. But it'll be tough because that division is an interesting one.
Yeah, I just think if Andrew Luck's healthy, the Colts are the best team in that division. That's just my opinion on it.
Agreed.
I mean, the Colts are only 2 years away from going to the AFC title game, so I think even with the Texans, you got to slow your roll a bit. I like what the Texans are doing, but I think they might be a wild card team. I think that's their peak. I think they're a wild card team. And the Jaguars probably 8-8. They're going to improve, but not next year. Maybe like in 2 or 3 years they'll be a playoff team. But okay.
Well, I mean, Oakland does come to Jacksonville this year. Who do you guys say wins that one in Jacksonville?
Oh,
I like Oakland.
I would go with Oakland there, just because Oakland's added a lot of players on. Like their defense is completely different.
Defense. Is it? Wait, what game? Do you know what game number it is?
I don't. I know that they're coming in. They're playing in Tampa and Jacksonville this year, so
okay.
I'm gonna definitely go.
If it's later and the Raiders,
I think it's back to back though. I think they're playing Tampa and Jacksonville like back to back. I don't know if they're gonna like stay here or like fly back to Oakland or what.
Well, you got to remember with Oakland too, as that defense should be good regardless. But at some point in the year, I think it's after game 10 or whatever it is, Aldon Smith comes back, and then I mean, if we're talking about Aldon Smith, even half of what he used to be, that team gets better. That team gets a huge boost. So the first 10 games of the season is one defense. The last 6, it's a little bit better defense. So yeah, it also depends a little bit on that. But I take Raiders over Jacksonville right now because we've seen more from their defense.
What's Aldon Smith's game suspension? 6 games?
I think it's.
I'm asking.
I think it's 10.
Oh, it's 10. Okay, well. They played. Yeah. Prophet is correct. They play the Jaguars and Buccaneers back to back, week 7 and 8.
Okay, so he won't be back yet, but hopefully they're hitting their stride by then.
I think that.
I say that as a Raiders fan.
They've added a lot of great pieces on that, and the defense wasn't bad last year. It was pretty good, especially down the stretch. They just, all they needed last year was a few additions on the safety, and they added.
Secondary.
Yeah, the secondary, and they added this guy, Sean Smith, as a top corner. So I think they
added Sean Smith, they added Reggie Nelson, they drafted Carl Joseph, Bruce Irvin. They added a lot.
Yeah. They're not fucking around, man. They see the pieces they have in offense with Cooper and Carr and what's his face, the other receiver.
Oh, Michael
Crabtree. He's having a resurgence. The running is still a question mark in terms of who they're going to trust with the ball. But, they're not messing around at all.
They went and added the offensive lineman Osemele.
That dude looks good.
That guy's a monster.
They just went out and said, here's what we want, and we're going to get it pretty much, essentially. And definitely cogs on the machine that are pieces. If the I won't be surprised if they make the playoffs this year.
All right.
At all.
Quick question. I think the Raiders are a wild card team because I still think that division but I think that division now belongs to the Chiefs because of the drop off with the Broncos. So, would you guys put the Raiders or the Texans? Who would you rather have, against each other? If they went up against each other, who would win?
Raiders and Texans?
Yeah. 2 teams that have improved.
Well, I mean, I'm a Raiders fan, so I'm going to be a little biased here. And everyone's going to say, Homer pick. But, I mean, I'm going to say the Raiders. I really do believe in them this year, and obviously that's, coming from me. But I really do, I just think it's interesting everyone's saying the Chiefs are the ones that own the division and not the Broncos. It's weird to say the Super Bowl champion is not, the division, crown for now.
That's fair. I just think
I actually think Jacksonville. Well, I just think the Jacksonville Raiders question is much more intriguing and closer than Houston, Oakland. I think the Raiders are on the upswing. They have less question marks because Osweiler's a question mark. Yeah, Lamar Miller, I think he's going to do fine, but he's in a new system with a new team. and then there's so many questions in just other parts of the field for Houston, outside of, J.J. Watt and Nuke, basically. So, yeah, I know. Again, I know I'm being Homer, but I do like the Raiders in terms of what they're doing.
Hype, with me on here, man, we can just turn this into a Raiders podcast if you want to do that.
Gus will just be like, "Shut the fuck up."
He got really well. The Dwayne Wade thing was part of it, but he got real quiet for like 15 or 20 minutes when we talked MMA one time.
I'll just be in the corner, you guys talk about your Raiders, and I'll be like, "Oh, and the Dolphins," and then you guys will be like, "Shut the fuck up about the Dolphins, man. They suck." They do, man. I hate the Dolphins.
Essentially.
I love it.
So is there anything else football related that's on anyone's mind before we maybe move on?
I just think the Raiders are better than the Texans as well, because the Texans have no secondary. But, all right, so next portion. We're going to talk about our top 5 favorite bands/artists. So whoever you like music-wise, choose them. Pick them out. I want to talk about it. I want to debate about it. I want to make fun of you for listening to a specific artist.
You're welcome, by the way, Prophet, because originally we brought this idea up. Gus suggested the idea, which was nice. And then Boozman suggested top 5 men that you would go gay for. So I said that might not be the best direction to take this segment.
Yeah, all right, probably not. So I appreciate that.
Number 1 for me is Bradley Cooper. Oh, no, we're not doing that one? Okay. My bad.
I'm going to look through his dreamy eyes. So I suggested music as a topic. I know on Clock Dodgers you guys mentioned movies a lot, which is nice. I haven't seen as much about music per se, so maybe I'm not looking in the right place. But it was something I thought would be interesting to talk about top 5 artists. So I don't know who wants to take first stab at it.
I'm definitely down, but I'll let one of you go first.
All right, Greg, take us away.
Oh crap! All right, well I narrowed it down to like the top 11, but I'm gonna try not to be a dick about it, and I'm gonna try to narrow that down. Okay, well I think my favorite band of all time is Red Hot Chili Peppers. So I know Gus likes them as well, but I don't know if they're on your list. They're definitely on my list. Then I think I have to throw in Led Zeppelin. They were formidable in my younger years. I had a big Zeppelin phase. I have all their albums. Then it gets dicey. I mean, shit. What do I do? Pink Floyd would probably be one of my top bands. Clapton is up there. Just anything with Clapton. That includes like Cream and some of the things he's done. Damn it. I can't even do a top 5. Pearl Jam's up there.
Jeez, you're like the worst person ever.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm telling you, I can't do it. Chili Peppers, Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, AC/DC, Eagles, Clapton, Pearl Jam, Beatles, The Clash, David Bowie, and Eminem. Because I have to have a rapper in there. I do like rap music. That's it. That's my list.
That's a good list.
They're all seminal artists.
Yeah, I can't really make fun of you for any of them, so I'm kind of disappointed, to be honest. I was hoping Justin Bieber would be in there sliding in like a top 6, and I'd be like killing you for it, but I guess I can't. All right, Neal, take us away.
Oh my God. Fuck that.
All right, so listen, I got to go a different route than you guys, because, coming up, I was, as a youngster, I wasn't like big into, I don't know what you want to call it, rock or what it is. Not that I wasn't into it, but like, I wasn't like dedicated to specific bands or anything. I would just listen to, whatever's the hot thing, and I would enjoy it. But the first music that I fell in love with was hip hop or rap. So of course I had to put Tupac on my list. He's actually the first rapper I ever heard. If you have anything bad to say, save it. No, I'm joking.
California Love is like it's a masterpiece.
Yeah,
Tupac is awesome.
Yeah, so he's got to be on there. And then kind of going down from here, I guess I have different reasons for everybody. I do have Jay-Z on my list. More so, obviously, he makes great music, but one of the things I like about him is that he stays relevant. So even today, he'll put out music and people still listen to it. He's like 40-something years old. So it's like he never lost that touch. So There's something that I respect about people that, love their passion so much that they never fall out of it. They don't stay the path they're in because this is what worked the first time. He's constantly recreating himself. So I put him there. Third, I'm going to go with Nas, specifically because like the passion that's in all of his music. Everything was different with him. The words he used, everything was just different.
Super underrated in mainstream circles.
Yeah,
Super
absolutely. The next one on my list, you mentioned him, Eminem. I got to put him on there. It's kind of like a nostalgic pick. He was just different. When he came out, obviously he was white, but I don't mean different because of that.
That's how he's different.
I mean,
albino rapper.
There was just something different besides the white factor. He was just a master with words. He said things people didn't say. It's just, at the age that it hit me, it was just something different. At that moment, it was something different, and I just, attached myself to it. And the last one I'm going to say, he's probably on not many people's list at all. Most people are going to be like, who is that? He's a rapper named Joe Budden.
Who is that?
And he basically, exactly. But seriously though, he's a good rapper. He's out of New Jersey. But my thing that, attached me to him was just, he was super honest in his music. He talked about his faults, what was bad, everything about him. He was just super honest about it. And I connected to that. You know what I mean? So that's just something that I couldn't, everyone else wants to brag and be flashy. And he was just honest that, whatever situation he was in is what it was. So I appreciate the music. Nice. So, but when it comes to everyone's, music, I can't really pick a top five, cause like you said, I like rock bands and, I know every single word. It's like a bunch of Blink-182 songs because my brother was like a Blink-182 fan. So I'm like all over the place, but hip hop is just kind of what I was rooted in. So I just have to, go that path.
Yeah. I came later to rap, like Eminem and Dre 2001. I think in my opinion, my humble, not knowing a ton of rap opinion, is like the best rap album ever. But I came later, like I said, Eminem and some others. But it's definitely just as I'm an English, I'm an English major. I like language. I like playing with words. I like, messing around with all that kind of stuff. And so rap music is just so cool. And so a lot of it's so pure because, as much as the beat can be cool or the music can be cool, if you don't have a flow and you don't have like a certain rhythm, and like you said, when Eminem came along, his a little staccato at times, a little just the way he flows and patterns and stuff, it really it makes it interesting. It makes the music just more than music even. It's there's another art form going on within that. From the lyrics and just how you're composing and putting things together.
It's funny that you say that because I heard there's a rapper. He's more known for battle rap and stuff. His name is Daylight, and he does like battle rap and stuff. But he was one time saying like the reason that he feels like he's so good at that is that like he's kind of broken the English language in a sense where he feels like all the grammar and all that kind of stuff. Like I ignore that. Like you know what I mean? Like there's some kind of weird art to that where they're able to ignore grammar, ignore all these, ways that we normally say words and make it work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's funny is kids, I don't know why kids are listening to this podcast because it's explicit, but kids, tell your English teacher that children who use wordplay, create new words, use, terminology and things that aren't actually in the dictionary but can manipulate language are actually better at using language and have shown higher test scores on language tests. So there you go. Fun fact of the day. So fuck you, traditional teachers.
Oh man.
All right, Gus.
All that English mumbo jumbo threw me off. Okay. I don't speak English.
God, hey, it's fucking knowledge. Goddamn knowledge.
I speak country. No.
All right, Gus. Your top five.
My top five. Please do not make fun of me. Yes. My number five is people make fun of me for it because it's one of those bands you either love it or hate it. But my friends all love it and we always go to their bands. It's the Dave Matthews Band. So I don't know, like all my friends and I like it. We always go to their concerts every year. I got stupid drunk at one of their concerts. That's a hell of a story. I don't know if you ever heard of it. Heard of the story.
We should really tell it on this podcast.
I might tell it afterwards. We might have to kill time.
Okay, Dave Matthews Band's okay.
They make fun music.
Yeah, number 4 is actually the first rap artist I've ever heard. Granted, I'm a little younger than maybe you guys are. I don't know how old you are, Prophet, but Eminem is the first rap artist I ever heard of. The real Slim Shady, Please Stand Up, was the first rap song I ever heard on TRL. So
You were like 6.
That's crazy.
I know. I was like,
What the fuck?
That's crazy.
I was like 7 or 8 when that
But-
came out.
But those TRL days were legendary. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I haven't turned on like Pandora or Spotify or something and like literally searched TRL music and like their stations just for that music. Like, it
To
is
have an
legendary.
actual rapper, not a hip hop act, but an actual rapper on TRL was like that was crazy because
A
Eminem
huge
was
deal.
like breaking the mold. Yeah, he was breaking the mold then.
Speaking of TRL,
Yeah,
real
it
quick,
was like Backstreet Boys,
Crossing
NSYNC,
over,
and then
yeah.
Speaking of TRL, real quick, my favorite moment of TRL history, I believe it happened on TRL, is when they did the 2004 Vote or Die campaign, and Paris Hilton was on the campaign, and she didn't vote, and the machine, remember, like, the whole machine picked her up, that she didn't vote, and she was like,
wow.
I was like,
I remember.
she was like, oh yeah, I was too busy doing the campaign to vote. I'm just like, really? You couldn't spend like 2 minutes going to a ballot and putting your name in to vote? Really, girl? All right. Anyway,
But
my-
do
she
we
should
want
have
Paris
nothing
Hilton
to do with the
voting?
campaign.
Yeah, do we want her voting? No.
yeah, that's true.
She should have nothing to do with the campaign.
Oh, that's funny.
So my number 3 is the Eagles. Greg mentioned it in
Yes.
one of his top 5. My dad used to play it all the time when I was a kid, and just like a nostalgic band for me. And Hotel California and Take It Easy are just amazing songs. My number 2 is a rapper. I think he's probably the best rapper I've ever heard, but I'm not as big into rap as some other people are. I'm very rap deficient. I think Kendrick Lamar is fantastic. He is my number 2. Especially with the stuff he's doing today is amazing. And
Excellent pick.
thank you. And my number 1 is Greg's number
One
1.
Direction.
No.
Oh, sorry.
It is the Red Hot Chili Peppers. The RHCP.
Nice.
I just love their music.
Yeah, those guys, they've just, if it's funny because when I talk to people about music, I'll, if they're Chili Peppers fans, they're like, oh, put on a Californication or put on, I don't know. What,
Scar tissue's out, I wish you
Scar
saw.
Tissue. Put on Can't Stop or,
Yeah.
some of these later albums, Danny California, things that came out, in the last,
Those are
10 to
TRL
15
songs.
years.
Yeah, they are.
But the thing is, if you go back and they, I'll have you heard their first album? And it's you can tell it's them, but at the same time, it's very different. And they've just evolved as a band. Every one of their albums has seemingly had a different vibe to it, a different sound. They've really done a good job. This latest album, I'm not the biggest fan of. There's some decent tracks, but they've done a really good job, at least before this album, of mixing it up, of keeping things fresh and lively and pushing the envelope in terms of, their style. So I really appreciate that. And to be relevant still, I mean, they have a single on the radio to be relevant, and they've been, at it for, I think, 83 was their first album.
Jesus
So,
Christ, really that long?
yeah. Their first album, or 83, I want to say, yeah, 83, 84, somewhere in there, was their first album, self-titled. And they, they've been at it now. I think they're up to like 10, 11 albums. They're amazing. And they have hits in every decade, in the 80s, 90s, and now 2000s, and now the 2010s. They've had hits.
So for Red Hot Chili Pepper fans, is there like an era that is best for them, or?
I mean, I
Late
think hands down,
90s?
you have to say they're 91 Blood Sugar Sex Magic is their best album, for a few reasons. Musically, it's different than anything you've probably heard up to that point, at least. That's the one with Under the Bridge. So I think Under the Bridge is their highest charting song of all time, at number 2 on the charts, if I'm not mistaken, in the States. There's so many just amazing things going on in there and different influences musically. Probably my favorite Chili Peppers song, and maybe their best song, Soul to Squeeze, was written in that same period of time, but it's not even on an album, which I think is crazy. That one of the, it's still played on the radio today. I hear it, here and there. I heard it probably just a week or two ago. It's still played on the radio. It's maybe their best song, and it was never released on an album. It was only released on a soundtrack. So that early 90s, before Frusciante left and went on his heroin, if you don't know the history, Dave Navarro obviously did an album with them in 95 called One Hot Minute. But Frusciante, I don't know how he was alive. He was addicted to heroin, got really like messed up out there. They have interviews of him. If you ever see him, like, it's scary, it's sad. It's just like a man that's lost his mind. And then he sobered up and came back in 99 when they did the Californication album. But yeah, in that 91 period, like, that album is hard to beat. Californication is an awesome album as well.
Yeah, I was about to say, for my age range, he's much older than I am. No, I'm fucking with you. But for me, like, I got into the Red Hot Chili Peppers when Californication came out. At this time, when Californication came out, I was like 7 years old. So, I mean, that's like, it immediately hit me. Then my favorite album from them is By the Way, just because my favorite song is on the album By the Way. So for me, like, their height for me was late 90s to the early to mid 2000s when they had, I think it was Californication, By the Way, and Stadium Arcadium. So three great albums just came out back to back to back.
You got to remember, they were in their 40s when they did Californication, I believe.
What? Were they like 60 now?
Yeah, no, they're approaching 60. Yeah,
wow.
I think they're like 50 and 60, somewhere in there. Except for the guitarist, because he replaced Frusciante after 2 albums ago. He's in his 30s now, I believe. But yeah, Flea, Anthony Kiedis, and Chad Smith are all in their, like, they're approaching 60.
So the guitarist is like me and Gus, and you're the Red Hot Chili Peppers, original members.
Essentially.
Exactly.
You want to put it like that, goddammit. It's crazy to think that, they're making, like, the Californication album when it came out. That thing was huge. It was a rebirth, and it was gigantic. And when you think of it in the terms of, hey, these guys are in their 40s, but they're making, late 30s, early 40s, but making music that appeals to everyone across the spectrum, young, old, that's hard to say that many bands have done that and can do that.
Yeah, because they do a whole bunch of funk rock, soft rock, and the alternative rock. They just blend it into the same song. That's the reason why By the Way is one of my favorite songs, because in that same song you have like 3 different styles of music all in one, and it's just
Car Shark.
It's just
Con job.
Exactly.
I don't even like. I sometimes it bothers me when Anthony starts saying random weird shit, but on the whole, yeah, they've done something that most bands can't say they've done.
So, all right, Greg, are we gonna rant about something today? You want to bitch about something?
I'm okay. So I don't want to offend you guys.
I'm so offended. Oh my god, man. God.
Hey, maybe I do want to offend you guys. There's this whole backlash against the self-checkout line. And
what?
I'm not aware of this,
Yeah.
so please educate me on this.
No, it's okay. So, self-checkout line, you go to the store, you get your shit together, you go to the self-checkout line, you like put it through the UPC code, boom, scan, put your shit in the bag, pay, get out of there, right? But there's all these fucking people that don't know how to use it. So I go to Target today. I actually went to buy a new headset because I want to try not to, make the podcast worse than it already is. And I'm fucking in there, and the fucking self-checkout lines are like backed up further than the other lines with checkers because people don't know what they're doing. And I'm just like, it's not that fucking hard. Scan the thing, put it in the fucking bagging area, pay the shit, get out of my fucking way. But there's all these people complaining about self-checkout never working. The only time I've ever been in self-checkout, and I've been in self-checkout dozens of times. I love that shit. Because it's fast. Because I fucking bag faster than the fucking person at the goddamn register. God knows I'm probably smarter than them, too. That's why they're working a fucking register. Don't get me wrong. I worked the register when I was in college for a year. Maybe that helps me, I guess.
Slander, man. You are slandering register workers across the nation.
All 4 of our register listeners.
First of all,
people can't
I've never
do
heard.
their fucking job.
I've never heard anyone call someone who works at a register a checker, which you did say the checkers who work there. I've never heard that, so that's new.
Must be some California shit.
Yeah, goddamn California. But
The checkers.
People complain. They're like, oh, it always says to put it in the checking area and blah, and put it in the bagging area, and it's always messed up, and it's this and that. Okay, there's just a few rules. If you have like produce, don't fucking go there if you don't know how to find the bananas button, because it says fucking bananas. Hit the button. If you have alcohol, that's the only time I've ever experienced an issue. One of the first times I ever saw self-checkout, I was buying a bottle of something, I'm sure. And I was like, oh, can I, and I tried to check it out, and they're like, oh, you can't check out alcohol. So I was like, okay, learned my lesson. Not going to happen again. I've never had an issue outside of that with self-checkout. But for some fucking reason, people are like, oh, self-checkout sucks, and it doesn't work, and it doesn't operate. No, there's a thing called user error. So people, get your shit together. If you don't know how to do a simple task that someone's getting paid minimum wage to do, just fucking go to the register and let the other people of the world that can figure shit out do it. Anyway, that's my rant. It pissed me off. I'm sorry. It pissed me off the last couple of times I've been in Target because they have a fucking self-checkout now and nobody knows how to use it.
I just want to add to that. I find it funny how companies that go into using these self-checkout items still have to employ people to work on the self-checkout items or self-checkout lanes to make sure people understand how to use them. When they
exactly.
When they could just employ those people to just go into more checkout lines. I don't, it's like why? I understand maybe one person, but I went to a checkout line in Walmart, in my Walmart here in Miami. Well, I'm not in Miami right now, I'm in Keys, but in Miami there's a Walmart, and they have like 4 attendants for the self-checkout line, and there's only like 6, checkout stands, and it's like, I don't know why there's so many people here. It's just, I don't know, it's just funny to me how they have people working that when they could be actually baggers or doing something else.
Apparently no one knows how to use a register. Workers, non-workers, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, I think self-checkout is only beneficial when the store is, like, empty. I think if you see lines for self-checkout, like, it's never a good sign. So, unless the store is empty and it's, like, only you, and it's like, oh, let's walk right up to this and let me do this, That's the only time it works. Otherwise, like you said, everybody starts, hitting buttons, and the scale isn't working, and this and that, and
I don't know what a credit card is. What do I do now?
And it's also great when it's also
sorry.
great.
It's funny. It got on my nerves today, and I was like, I have to make sure I mention that because I want all our listeners to either learn how to use the self-checkout or don't get in that line.
It's also super annoying when you have like only 2 items and you just want to get in and out, and like people are just not knowing how to use it. It's so frustrating when you're just there waiting for somebody to finish. And it's just like, oh, no, I need help with this. I need help with that. It's like, damn it. I hate you.
Well, let me ask you guys, since we're talking about grocery stores and stuff here, are you guys, like, 100% ethical when it comes to, like, 10 items or less, 20 items or less? Are you guys, like, counting the stuff in your cart and, like, playing by the books? Or are you guys little, running shenanigans?
I'm kind of an asshole in general, so I am definitely playing by the 10 items or less rule. Because I'm like, if I see someone with like 14 items, I'm like, you motherfucker. Like, I'm not.
Are you like snitching them out like, yo, checker, he's got 14?
But I'm definitely shaking my head a little bit, maybe give a look if they look over at me like, what the fuck are you? Do you not know how to count? Basic arithmetic, motherfucker. But yeah, I tend to play by that rule for sure.
Yeah, if I see 11, I'm not going to make a big deal. But if I see somebody with like 20 items, I'll go up. I will be that guy and go up to them and say like, dude, it's a 10 item or less line. You have like 25 items. Can you just go to the other line, please? And they'll be they're most of their excuse will be like, oh, I didn't know it was a 10 item or less line, even though there's like a giant sign in a different color than every other single checkout line that says 10 items or less. So I am that guy. I'm the
people at the
stickler.
register don't do nothing. They just like, oh yeah, sure, I'll take your 30, 45, 50 items.
Yeah, they're already there, so they really can't. I don't think they can do anything about it.
They'll put on a nice face too, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, I'll do all of these.
Imagine being that person having to work that that register, and you're like, again, all day long. We're talking about just seeing one person in front of us. Imagine working it. Oh man.
You're like, yeah, you don't know how to count.
Why don't you go to self-checkout?
If I ever open a business like that, I'm just gonna make it known, like, hey, my employees are gonna say some shit you might not like, and if you don't want to come back, you know what? We don't need you. It's not gonna last very long as a business, but it'll be fun while it happens.
Yeah, it won't last very long. But I did see a restaurant.
Like,
I don't know the name of it. I seen a restaurant like that where like they talk to you rude and they like talk crazy to you and stuff. And I was like, well, this is awkward.
You know what? Worse than that though, I've been in restaurants before where like the server will jump into the booth with you, across from you and shit, and you're like, what the fuck? Or like next to you, and you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, that's pretty bad too. Anyway,
I've had that happen to me many a times. One time I got the girl's number actually, but that's another story.
Damn.
Man, do we have some problems in our life or what, guys? It is rough here.
First world problems. I need to go faster.
Man, it is rough.
Oh man. Do you guys want to hear my story about the concert or no?
Let's hear it. Yeah,
I'll make it quick. I'll make it quick.
He's band, right?
So we went to the Dave Matthews Band concert. This was about 2 years ago, and we tailgated there for about. We got there like 4 hours before the concert, and we got like VIP parking, so we were right next to the concert. And it was like raining like crazy. It was, a whole bunch of people were coming over to us because we were smart and we saw the weather radar, and we saw it was going to rain, so we brought a giant tent. And we nailed down this tent, and like 5 cars over, people were coming up to us and like partying with us to hide from the rain. So during this time, I'm starting drinking, making new friends, and I'm getting super fucked up. And these 2 guys named Rod and Steve, like they were like older gentlemen that parked next to us. They're like in their 40s and 50s. They come up to me and they're like, "Hey Gus, come over here. We want you to, let's finish the bottle of whiskey you brought." So I'm like, "Okay, cool." The name of this bottle of whiskey is called Angel's Envy. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it.
I don't think so.
They give me a giant shot. And so like this is about when we're about to go into the concert. So I take this giant shot. I'm like walking in. I'm like, oh, okay, I feel great. And then all of a sudden, like a wall of like alcohol or whatever it is hits me super fucking hard, and like I fall to the ground, and like I need like 10 minutes or not 10 minutes. It was like 2 minutes on the ground, holding myself, and like I was getting like the alcohol shakes, and like so after these like 2 minutes of intense alcohol fury, I get up, I feel much better. I think that's the end of it. So I walk up to the front desk where they're taking the tickets. I give them my ticket, and I see my friend there outside the register. He's like on the other side, so he hasn't given his ticket and he hasn't gotten into the place yet. So I go back outside to see what's wrong with him, and he's like on the edge, on a wall. He's like smiling and freaking giggling, and he's laughing like crazy. And I asked him like, "Oh, what's going on? What's wrong?" He's like, "Oh, I can't find my ticket." He. And he's like drunk as fuck. He's stupid beyond drunk. So I'm there like, fist, like, what do you call it when you're when the police are like searching somebody? I'm like frisking him down, like giving him a cavity search. I'm checking all his pockets, and then like he starts like cracking up hilariously. I'm like, why? What's going on? It turns out that he had his ticket in like his shirt pocket the entire time. And he was just like, hey, I had it here. I'm like, oh, fuck you, asshole. So I end up walking back to the front, to the register. And then the girl comes up to me and she's like, oh, sir, where's your ticket? It's like, oh, I already gave it in. Here's like the stub of it. And she's like, oh, no, sorry, we don't do any, any readmissions. So I'm like, are you kidding me, man? Like, you just sent me in there like 10 minutes ago. Then I had to talk to the manager. The manager finally let me in after like 20 minutes. The manager sees how drunk my friend is, so she's like, oh yeah, okay, fine, just make sure you take care of your friend. I'm like, okay, we'll do. So we go up there, we sit in the lawn, which is like just a big grass area that people bring their chairs and stuff to watch the concert. So my friend sits down in a chair, and he passes out drunk for the whole concert. So, so here's when my things start getting really bad for me. I see like.
Oh, it hasn't started yet?
No. This is when it gets bad.
My God, are you gonna enjoy the concert or not?
Well, you're about to find out. So I see 4 girls in front of me that are really cute, and I feel like the sensation to vomit. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom now. I'm gonna vomit, and I'm gonna come back. So I go to the bathroom, and then I just start. I I'm like dying in the bathroom, vomiting like crazy. I'm on the ground of the stall, and like just holding on to the toilet for dear life.
Jesus.
So I get up, I leave the stall, I leave the bathroom, then like immediately after that I need to vomit again, so I run back inside, go to the same stall, there's like piss on the floor everywhere. I start vomiting, and then after that point I get up. At this point I'm like so drunk it's blurry, I'm like the world is flailing over, it's turning in circles. So then I find a bench to sit down on. And at this concert, I was wearing a Captain America t-shirt. So people see how drunk I am, and they're like, "Oh, feel better, Captain." And then some guy was really nice, and he gives me like a cup of ice, and he's like, "Here you go, Captain, feel better." I'm like, "Thanks, man." So then, then the next person that comes up to me is a fireman, and he's like, "Sir, how's it going tonight?" I'm like, "I'm doing good. I feel really sick." And he's like, "Yeah, that's fine. Where are you at right now?" He's like, "Oh, I'm at the Dave Matthews Band concert." It's like, what day is it today? It's Saturday. And then he's like, "How many fingers am I holding up?" 4. And he's like, "Okay, you seem to be okay for being so drunk. Just find your friend." I'm like, "Okay." So then my face was like looking down the whole time. So then I look up, and I see like waves of people leaving the stadium. And then I notice that there's no more music playing. So then I come to realize that I've been in the bathroom for 4 hours.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude.
Apparently I blacked out in the bathroom stall.
Right. You slept it off. That's why you didn't seem so bad.
And I came to like 4 hours later. And then
Holy shit.
Luckily my cousin's friend finds me, and then my friend's cousin finds me, and he sends me back to the truck. And when I'm walking to the truck, I see it super far away. I'm like stumbling and bumbling. And when I finally get to the truck, I hit my head on the truck falling, because I misread the depth of it, because I think it's like right in front of me, and I go to grab it, and I just trip over myself and fall. And then my friends see me hit the truck, and they're like, "Oh my god, we found Gus!" after 4 hours.
God, dude. What the hell?
Yeah. So what was worse, like blacking out for the whole show, or actually having to watch a Dave Matthews show?
Oh wow, okay.
No, I'm just joking. Give me a straight.
That's a good one. We can put that on a poll.
Which is worse?
Which is worse? Blacking out in the stall full of piss, or watching the actual concert?
All right, Prophet. Now you got to tell a drunk story.
I don't have a drunk story.
Oh man, no.
No drunk story, man.
Prophet's
as shameful as it is, I don't even drink, guys. So you do enough for me.
No, good for you.
That's good, man. Yeah.
Not like I'm against drinking or anything. I'm not one of those guys. It's just never been my thing.
Good, because I'm drinking right now. No, I'm kidding.
And after Gus drank whatever he drank, I think he drank enough for the both of us.
Yes,
exactly.
The reason why I mentioned the name Angel's Envy, because I've never drinking it 2 years from that day. So it's
I don't blame you.
I've never touched it since, and every time I see it, I get like a gag reflex.
I drank a bottle of Fireball Jack one time because I'm a fucking moron, and I woke up at like 3, 4 in the morning. Like I wanted to die. I'm not kidding. Like I would have rather just died than suffer like the next 5 hours that I suffered.
You see how you guys are talking about this, and I was like, I don't want to drink when I hear these stories.
Yeah,
let us be a warning unto others. Yes. Kids, if you're still listening, I mentioned it earlier, why are you listening anyway? But children, if you're listening, don't drink. It's not good for you. And
don't drink, kids. Just drink a Coke and get a buzz off of that.
You will make poor life choices. My drunk stories are just like hearsay, though, for the most part. Like other people telling me shit that I've done. Well, like I don't remember. I'm like, I don't fucking remember that, but.
Nothing wrong with drinking. I just don't drink.
Open the
much.
fridge, like you opened the fridge. You looked in there for like 2 minutes, like you were looking for something to eat. You closed the fridge. You whipped it out, and you took a piss on the floor in front of the fridge. And I'm like, what the fuck? I did that? They're like, yeah, you did that. I was like, Jesus Christ,
God, dude.
So
what's wrong with you?
Don't drink.
All right, and I love how Prophet is the first guest on our podcast, and we just entertain him with our drunken stories.
Yeah, man. I thought there was going to be no booze on this episode. Ha ha.
Oh, nicely done. We are going to be taking a collection for him for whatever is wrong with him mentally.
Yes.
Yeah.
We remember Boozman episode.
We'll get that info to you shortly.
That's just like a lifetime GoFundMe page for him or something.
Exactly. It's like
yeah, seriously, just like he's just Boozman. He needs help.
Yeah, he's bound to need this. So guys, we're just gonna run this through life.
We don't know what's wrong with him, but please send help.
Gentlemen, I do want to mention again clockdodgers.com. Awesome website, awesome stuff going on there. Contributing writers are folks in a lot of cases that we know. And then the Clock Dodgers podcast is awesome. Knowledgeable. The guys are on top of their stuff. They have a fun segment. You guys have a foul no foul segment, which is really fun. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that again. Do we have, Gus, a model of the week?
Can I
steal this, or do you have one?
You can do it for sure. Yeah, you can post one up.
All right, I'm gonna say our model of the week is, if I can, God damn it,
bum anticipation.
Miranda May Kerr.
How do you?
Now I don't get a list. I don't get pictures of the models of the week.
Oh, they'll be in the chat though.
Okay, all right.
Booze usually does that. Shoot. After Dark podcast chat. After Dark no reservations at gmail.com. If you want to send in any questions for Booze for future episodes. We didn't have that segment tonight, obviously, because Booze is out.
Holy shit.
And, in some ways that was better with Prophet here. What's up? Gus, did you look her up?
Yeah, this girl's fine. Have you seen a picture of you yet, Prophet?
I have not.
Okay, hold on. Let me.
I'll put some in the chat.
Yeah. Put some in the chat.
She's smoking.
Holy smokes, dude.
It's closer to my age than yours, though. So
really,
I wanted to throw her out there for this week, though, for sure. Miranda May Kerr, boom. She is, smoke show. Yeah, I think that's it that I have to say.
Neal, did you enjoy our shit show of a podcast?
I absolutely enjoyed it. I, appreciated being the first guest. I appreciate you guys saying nice things about Clock Dodgers. This was fun, man. You guys have a good podcast all the time. And the one list I did get, you guys said, we would talk about Tim Duncan. I just want to give a shout out to Tim Duncan.
Oh, yes.
Great career. He did everything the right way and really balled out for his career. So I just want to send him off on a good note. For me, top 10 in the NBA ever on my list. So one of the top 10.
I wanted to talk about Tim Duncan, but apparently Gus hates Tim Duncan. So.
No, I mean, he broke my heart one year, but he's a fantastic player.
Yeah, no, I agree. He's probably a top 10 player of all time.
I think he's for sure top 10, probably the best power forward ever. I mean, for sure best power forward.
The way he went about the game is, especially in the social media era, is really impressive. And I know people want to get into, and it would have been something we would have talked about probably, is where he ranks with Kobe, because they're retiring same time, and they've had similar length of career, similar type of careers in terms of 5 championships, staying with the same team. But basically, hopefully people just appreciate what he brought to the game, what these guys brought to the game, because it's hard to find. It's going to be real hard to find the next Tim Duncan, the next Kobe Bryant, players like that.
100%.
Yeah, you can't replace players like that. So I guess this is the end of our podcast. I just want to give a last shout out to the Clock Dodgers podcast. Please go find them on iTunes. Listen to them right now for the best fucking introduction of all time, and also some good podcasting. So.
I mean, even if you just listen to the intro and then turn it off, I'm okay with that.
Exactly.
I'll take anything. I'll take anything.
All right.
Nice.
So for our guest, Neal, Prophet, known on the Fantasy Life app as Prophet, and on the Clock Dodgers podcast. And then for the Hype, I'm going to say bye for you. I'm going to say, toodaloo, motherfuckers.